What is up, everybody? Nick Lego Stava here, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing Transformers HASLAB. It's also branded Transformers Legacy Deathsaurus. Now, this figure here, there's going to be a lot to go over, but in this video I'm going to have a lot of size comparisons. I'm going to have the weight of the figure also compared to other figures. So let's get into this right off the bat. I have him sitting in his chair. Apparently 2025, next year, he's going to be trying to come to the Earth and take over its resources and energy. But it's time for him to be reviewed right now. But right off the bat, I do have to get into some negatives. So right off the package, out of the package, he already has some scratches there. I don't know. Let's see if I can get the angle on it. You can kind of see it. It's worse in person than it is on camera. It looks a little better, but yeah, those are definitely visible scratches in the gold already. So you thought they were going to improve this gold, since on Victory Saber it was not the best. But yeah, scratches out the box. Also, these legs are not painted silver how they were in many of the production things. I know some other images came out previously, but this is a $212.73 figure by the time I had taxes and shipping all on it. I mean, you would really have hoped, that they would have actually had the silver paint on the legs how it did in many of the promotional images. It had a lot more silver paint in those promotional images, that is for sure. But I'll get into that more when I compare it to the G1 toy and stuff. But yeah, let's, he's sitting down currently because I thought would be the best way to introduce this review. But some of the accessories I already have in his hand, like this nice big sword. This is a nice big sword. It's, let's see, I have a ruler right here. How long is this thing? And of course it's not in feet, it's 200 millimeters. Of course I didn't have a freaking foot ruler over here. That's when I have to have things measured for 3D print stuff. When I'm trying to calculate it in my mind, I need that ruler. But yeah, you get that nice big sword. It is painted silver. Luckily, no like scratches or many paint issues with that for me. Right here we have the mace. This looks extremely cheap. This yellowish plastic here look ultra cheap dollar store toys plastic. That's how I can describe that. That needed to be gold or something painted, because that looks awful. So I'm gonna definitely have to custom paint that, because that does not look good. I mean, I think that's also like the weakest thing on here. I think this would be the first thing to break on this figure, is this ultra cheap plastic chain. So that's that accessory. You also get the what is it, death metal cannon or liquid metal cannon? I don't remember the name of it. It's been a very long time since I've watched any of that. But yeah, let's get into this. He sits in his chair. Nice click ratchet joints on him, nice and tight. Let's go over the chair real quick and then we'll get into him. Go over the last accessories here. The shield thing that goes on his arm, that does click into the back of the chair here as well as an arrow. All that clicks on the chair. The gun also does, but I didn't feel like folding it up since it's a pain in the ass. The chair has some paint marks on it. It's kind of strange how it's assembled. I think they could have did a little bit better job blending that in. You could very easily tell that it's the sections all put together. But it has paint on there as well on most of the bottom. It's alright for what it is. It's also very top heavy. Like when he's sitting in this could extremely easily topple over with very, very minimal effort. And you have all the stuff on the back of the chair and him sitting on there. There's the bottom of that, ultra hollowed out. They almost needed like a weight in the front of that to counterbalance it. But yeah, there's that. I also would have liked for this chair, for like when he's not sitting in it, something to slot in there and just cover up that gap. Maybe that's just me. I think that would have been a nice inclusion as well. I mean, considering this is genuinely a premium figure, it's very expensive. I really contemplated getting this or not, but since I had missed out on Victory Saber and then had to pay a scammer and I got scammed and then I had to buy another one, then I was $500 deep on that when I should have just backed the HASLAB to begin with. I decided to just back this one anyway. What am I going to have, Victory Saber and not have Deathsaurus? Come on now. Had to do it. And then waited over a year for it to come. But yeah, let's do the weight of this guy real quick. And then we'll do some size comparisons right off the bat. Then we'll do the articulation. Come on, zero out. I gotta have this sit down on me. Alright. Zeroed out. Put him right on there. How much is he alone? I mean, he has his breast bots in there, or whatever they're called, another breast somethings. What? Is he too heavy for the scale? Come on now. What the fuck? Apparently it's too heavy for the scale. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Garbage. Apparently that little scale couldn't do it, so on a regular scale, it's saying over a pound. So let's, it's saying like 2 pounds, but I don't know about that. That's probably not 2 pounds. It's probably about 1.5 pounds. That's my estimation. I'm gonna go over articulation, then size comparisons, then we'll get to the smaller bots and their different stuff, and then we'll get into alt modes. So there we go, that's the plan for the rest of this video. So right off the bat, this just feels like a Commander class figure. Like, quite honestly, I'm gonna do this size comparison right now. I did this directly right when I got it out of the box. That was like the first thing that I did. At the head, he is actually shorter than Commander class Jetfire. And these feel similar in weight. So to me, just getting this in hand and it also still lacking some of the paint apps, all that silver on all those parts from the production images, the initial ones, is really kind of, it pisses me off, honestly, because that's literally a Commander class figure. Now you do get the chair and all the other stuff, but at the end of the day, would I have rather had a Commander class $89 figure opposed to an over $200 figure? You know, I kind of am leaning more towards this could have been a mainline Commander class figure. But yeah, and in weight wise, it really feels very close to these. I wish that little scale I had would work to weigh and get their exact weights, but this feels extremely close in weight to Commander class Jetfire. So that out of the way, that's definitely, they're making a lot of money on this probably. They can say whatever they want, but there has to be a lot of money being made on this HASLAB figure for Hasbro. But let's get into articulation. So he has wrist rotation, he has hands opening and closing, but he has them only in 2 separate spots, so he could look like he's pulling the bow. So he has like the bow fingers, and then the other 2 fingers. I don't know why those couldn't have just been at least individually moving like that. I mean, the little individual movements of each notch on there I could understand for this like size would be too much, but each individual finger still should have been able to move on there. So there's that, and then the elbows. I kind of thought they were going to be double jointed elbows, but they're not. So they can only go to just a fraction over 90 there, barely any. So I'll just call that 90. And then you got a swivel there. You can swivel that out pretty good. You can angle the wings if they're getting in the way of the foot for vehicle mode there. I keep saying vehicle mode, but you know what I mean. And then the shoulders here, they hinge in kind of like butterfly if it wants to. I mean, does this side? I know this side does it because it was popped out. What the hell? It has that. I know it was like that because I had to pop it in there. Now, oh my Christ. Oh my God. Okay, clip in there. I know it can do it. I swear to God. Oh, it probably just scratched the gold more. Christ. Okay. So yes, that can clip out there. It's a pain in the ass, as you can see. That can clip out, and he can have forward shoulder movement. Yay. Because I freaking had this whole thing fall off. This doesn't really clip in that good, honestly. Like, it just kind of whips on there. Like, it just kind of feels like a wimpy connection on there. It doesn't feel super solid on there. So that falls off the Breastmasters. Is that what they're called? Breastmasters? Pretty sure. But yeah, there's the upper body articulation also. Hold on. Gotta do that. You do have nice, solid ratchet joints. We probably wouldn't have got the ratchet joints if this did make it to mainline. But yeah, the ratchet joints are very nice. They feel like something out of 2005 for Transformers in terms of ratchet joints. So that's at least a positive there. The wings do go up and down. It would have really... Don't even know what's falling and crackling there, like something just broke. I have no idea, no clue in the world. But yeah, I think some of those individual ones should have been able to move and like slide out some. You know, just having that move, it's not awful, but it could have been better for sure. I do love how this piece up here is not painted on. It's a separate red piece in there, and then the black is painted on the red, and then it's the pieces glued in on this gray piece. So that's pretty good. Hopefully these gray pieces and stuff don't yellow, because we know that Hasbro of recent years has not had the best track record of non-yellowing plastics, as Soundwave and the original Earthrise release of that Megatron mold is yellowing, so hopefully this premium product doesn't yellow in a matter of a few years, or hopefully ever, quite honestly. But yeah. So there's that. I think that's all the articulation on the upper body. I don't think I'm missing anything. If I am, tell me. But no ab crunch, at least in robot mode. It doesn't look like there's any ab crunch. I'm pretty sure there is in alt mode. I've only had him in there once. I decided, like, I got this, what, 2 days ago at the time of recording? I wanted to wait a few days after I messed around with him a little bit, kind of like picked apart a few different things and kind of noticed more stuff about him. So you can flip up the hip. Can't even talk. Oh my Christ. I fucking suck at making videos, honestly. I suck at making videos now. I honestly do. But yeah, there's a swivel there. 90 degrees. You know, it's just a fraction past 90, but we'll just say 90. It almost looks like there's a double joint there, like it can go back more, but it's not a double joint in there, so you can't go back more. But you do have the swivel, you do have the hip skirt out. You do have another side hip skirt as well for outward kicks, and it does hold the leg up pretty nicely. Like there's me jostling it around, and it's not losing its place. So that is one major positive of this figure, at least on my copy, is the ratchet joints feel super solid. That's a great thing. There's a swivel there. It almost would have been nice if that had a ratchet joint in there as well, because that could definitely get loose over time. It's a little more loose, like going to the left side than it is the right side on here, but it's probably just nitpicking, mental illness. But yeah, so there's that. What else? I gotta go over the articulation on the feet. There's not a lot of major visible hollowness on there unless you put the shield on the arm. If you put that like right there, there's like an attachment piece on there that attaches to the arm, and then you see that massive hollowness in there. This could have been like a two-piece thing or something else clipped on the outside. I mean, you'd honestly would think of that. For this price point, you think like ultra premium stuff, which this kind of, it feels mainline, you know? I could say the same thing about Victory Saber. For sure, it really felt like it could have been a mainline figure. Like that could have been a Commander class and a Leader class figure sold in stores. Honestly, it could have been. But here's a swivel there. You do have a swivel. I really, really wish that this figure had forward and back foot movement. Like it has very little, but it starts to like fold the foot up. I wish it had a little more of that, because when I had him sitting in the chair, I wanted to angle his feet a little bit different, but it's pretty limited in forward and back movement there. So what else? I think that's all the articulation on this. Hopefully people are staying tuned. I know like viewer retention just drops off the map and then my channel gets fisted like that. All right, let's get into size comparisons. So actually the initial talks of this figure was that it was going to be a remold of Grimlock here. So there is Studio Series 86 Grimlock. You can see that would have not been a good fit for this figure. I'm definitely glad they didn't do that. They honestly would have been better off remolding Jetfire, honestly, because that's literally, it's literally bigger than this. Like this is a Commander class figure. You know, you just seen the size comparison of that not long ago. Literally bigger. I honestly, like from my initial thing when I just fastly set it down, I thought it was the same, but no, Jetfire is literally taller. So there's that out of the way as I just nearly break my computer mouse. These two, dun 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 dun, Victory Leo and there you go. I have done some custom paint work and have some 3D upgrades on these too, but look at that. Just seeing all that together right now makes me not want to put a shotgun to my head today. There you go. That's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty dashing. And I probably will show that in combined mode when I do the review. I'll compare that to that when I do, if I ever get around to doing that review. Who knows if anybody actually would want to watch it. So there's that move. Let's see, any other little size comparisons? I guess I'll throw in a deluxe figure. Here's what a deluxe dots and molds looking like next to this. Literally, like I said, it's Commander class. If you have Jetfire, you pretty much know the size of this guy. He's like a little shorter than Jetfire. So there you go. There's all of the articulation out of the way. Let's get into the little guys and then alt mode. My dumbass forgot the head articulation, so you do have nice amount of looking up and side to side. I'm trying not to touch the gold up there because, I mean, who knows how easily it could flake off or scratch. All right, now for Pipo, Boater, Tiger Chest, and Eagle Chest. So time to go over these. Now, these were the third, like, secret tier that they threw in with this, which, I mean, it was probably just going to be included all along. I mean, you would hope so for the price, that they try to include any little thing they can. So there's those. We'll have them in alt mode in there. They're just MicroMasters. These are the main things right here. So this, I wanted to show, is not the same size as this, in case people had that thought that they could maybe put one of these in Soundwave or Sound Blaster. So let's move that out of the way, and then I will get this transformed. I should easily be able to transform this not on camera. I would only hope, because this one, the main reason I didn't do that on camera is because this jaw literally took me like a good 5 minutes to get out. It was a big pain in the ass. So yeah, hopefully this will be much easier though. Oh, there's a little beak. That's actually why I keep my nails to a point and keep them a little longer than my other nails, is so I could get in all these little panels and like pop open Lego pieces and do all kinds of shit. So yeah, a little jaw even on the inside is painted silver. That's kind of nice. The eyes are not picked out. It would have been nice if the eyes were picked out in a different color, like yellow or something that would contrast with the red nicely. And got the little legs there. Little feet have articulation. Kind of Laserbeak-esque, quite honestly. So yeah, let's get that popped out of the way. Popped out of the way. And there you go. Eagle chest and tiger chest. Now these don't easily pop upward. I mean, that's definitely worrisome. Like, you're going to get a stress mark if you try to put these upward, which, why would they have not just rounded that square edge there a little more, and those could have easily flipped upward? It just would have made a lot more sense. You know, you're going to be flapping the wings, so they can't be moved much upward without the heavy worry of a stress mark or breakage. So that's kind of a negative on this little guy here. And these feet also flip in extremely easily. Like, he can't even stand on them. Like, so there's that. And then over to tiger chest here, like I said, that's a pain in the ass to get out. I mean, not very noteworthy in that mode. Scrawny little legs, not a whole lot going on. There's a lot of pins in here and like super complex to try to like justify the price probably, but I mean, these swiveling out, this side doesn't really swivel out all the way, this side swivels out all the way. Those swiveling out doesn't, I mean, that's not doing very much, honestly. It's just kind of like needless. I mean, for the price, sure, it's nice, but I mean, if they could have had this at a cheaper price point, not had something like that, that'd be fine. I finally got that to swivel over more. But yeah, this gold stuff, I thought it was like supposed to be metal, like tamper-graphed on there. Wasn't that what they were saying? This just feels like a cheap chrome on plastic for thousands of freaking years at this point. It's a bit exaggeration, but just seems like it's just regular gold stuff on plastic. So yeah, not really too special there. You do have a little bend there at the elbows of the little legs on tiger chest. So yeah, would have been nice if the teeth were picked out in like silver or gold even, but they're not. The eyes are picked out in red though, so I guess that's something. So there's those little guys out of the way. This also does transform into a bow and clip onto his arm and all that, but we've all seen that in the production images. People will click off the video if I start doing all that dumb little shit. So yeah. All right, here it is in robot chicken mode, and you do get blast effects with this, but they're the same blast effects that we've gotten like 10 times now, just in a different color. Yay, they couldn't break the bank on this one and give us some different types of blast effects. So let's pop that right in the mouth there. Yeah, there you go. Put a blast effect on there. Put a blast effect on the blaster. You think the blaster would have a bigger blast effect than the blast effect coming out of its mouth, but not by much. So there you go. I know it's a Griffith or whatever, but robot chicken just sounds a lot cool. So I do think this is lacking in some paint apps. Again, the head should have probably had some chrome on it or silver. I would have probably preferred like a light silver or something like that. It's edging on almost being that soapy plastic that I hate. Like, it's just teetering on the edge of soapy plastic, but it's just kind of a pearl white plastic. It's not awful, so it's all right. But yes, the mouth is blast effect compatible, but it's the same blast effects, this 3-piece blast effect that we've literally gotten like probably over 10 times now, just in a pinkish purple. So yeah, that could pop right on into the mouth. So that's nice. The gun, also the big rifle laser is it liquid metal cannon? It's something like that. Liquid metal or living metal, maybe living metal. Yeah, but just, it's something that I just keep looking at this. These wings need to bend up. Why? Like, that was such an oversight. Why do those wings not bend up? That bothers me. Genuinely bothers me. Now, they want you to transform the legs differently than that. They want you to have that facing the other way, but then you don't have a knee bend. So do you not want a knee bend and then you get to see some of the hand there? Or do you just want that panel on the back and then you actually have a knee bend? So yeah, that's a pick or take on that. I'm going to take this off so I don't have that be any longer than it needs to be and have it pop off them. But yeah, there is a 5mm peg even on the side of that cannon. I'm not really sure. I think they just put that there so you could pop it on other things, but I kind of wish that was just another purple circle there. So that's how it is on the other side. So it's not symmetrical, so it kind of bothers my dumb ass. But yeah, other than that, I honestly like this mode more than I thought. I thought it was going to be kind of stupid, but like seeing it here in front of me, it's pretty cool. It's just like the ridiculousness of it makes it cool. So definitely pretty nice. Now, I bet if I looked at the instructions, maybe the back could clean up slightly better. I don't really know, but that's how I'm going to transform it. So if you don't like it, then come find me. Yeah, so there's the back. The tail doesn't really move. It's literally just a parts forming in disguise. So yeah, literally just parts forming on there. Now these panels do flip out, and then you have more 5mm pegs. That's also, I think, if you wanted to peg the tail shield, whatever you want to call it, on there, but you could also put more stuff on in robot mode. I don't really have any. Oh wait, I actually do right here. Bam, pop on little guns or whatever, turrets, stuff on them, make them look even more armed up. Yeah, and also the feet here, you can see the hollowness on the inside. When you have those cocked out on a premium product like this, you really shouldn't have that, honestly. I mean, I'd say on the bottom, but then you'd see it in robot mode, so it just should have did something different with that, not to have hollowness there. But other than that, this is pretty badass. I will say I like this. I actually might display it in this mode every so often because it's pretty cool. I mostly display stuff in robot mode, but the ridiculousness of that's pretty badass. So yeah, there's Griffin's robot chicken mode. And what's there to really go over in this mode? I mean, articulation, like I said, if you transform that how they want you to, then you don't have a knee bend. And then you do gain this kind of like ab crunch to try to like move the body up and down some. Wish that was kind of accessible in robot mode, but as far as I know, I couldn't really get it to bend in robot mode. Maybe I just was being too gentle, but I doubt it. Then you got those same ratchet joints that are on the arm that now become the legs. And then down here, there is no ankle tilts on those. That's a little bit disappointing, but I could see why they did it. It's more so for stability. And then you do have a swivel. You do have a swivel on the foot as well. And then you would have, that would be your knee bend if you had that transformed how they want you to, which that was like too low. I still think you need one up here. Then you could kind of properly give them the chicken legs even. So I don't know. That's kind of a mind-boggling thing of why they say to do that in the transformation, to have that differently. But that's just how I prefer it. So there you go. He's kind of doing a squat. Doing a squat right there. Yeah, this is, the more I look at this, the more I like it. So definitely a cool mode. Definitely shines some. I just think that if this had more paint on it, I really wouldn't have too much criticisms for this. I mean, the price point's very high, but at that price point, it should have had more paint apps like the images we were provided. But there is the little G1 robot chicken. You can see it has the chrome on the head. And then over to, that's the animation model. I meant to show that in robot mode. I'll probably do something quick at the end. But you could just see, look at those production images. They had so much more paint on like every single aspect of this. It had silver on the legs. You know, these images are what, I know they're like, oh, representative. They say that so they can't be sued for false advertising of what the final product's going to be. But look at that. That looked awesome with the silver paint on there. So I might just have to go and do that customization myself. And then also the chair had more. I don't know where that image is. Yeah, the chair had a lot more paint on it as well. So yeah, those images were definitely not representative of what we actually ended up with for over $200. So I think that's the video on this. I mean, you can already obviously see there's a little tiny elbow on these little tiny arms. They swivel out, they swivel back and forth. You can do a forward if you want to pop it, but I mean, there's not really much that you would need that for, but I meant there's not much you would actually use that for. But yeah, that's pretty much it in this mode. The tail doesn't move, it doesn't wag. It's just a big imposing beast. So there's Piper and Boater's little alt modes. This is what they came in the package as. I had to transform them for the other part. But yeah, nice little boat. It's kind of cool to have little boats like Minicon, Micromaster. Definitely cool. And then there's a few more size comparisons right there. We got Earthrise Netflix / Kingdom Optimus Prime. And then we got Rumble there. And Cybertron Unicron. That should maybe give you a little hint of about what might go down in my stop motion Transformers series when I get around to making them. There's still like 30 more figures I need to get before I have every figure I would want for that. So there you go. Have a great one. If you're new, please be sure to subscribe, especially if you made it all the way to the end. Be able to... I can't fucking talk because I'm fucking stupid. Tell me in the comments. Have a great day. Peace. Bye-bye. I'll tell you, one thing is extremely testing my patience on this transformation is putting the cannon in this slot. It doesn't want to slot in, but of course I finally get it on camera and then it topples over and pops off because that's my life. Now these pieces, when you're trying to transform it, slide off extremely easy. Extremely easy. These just pop off. They just slide on these things and they just slide directly off of those little mushroom pegs or whatever you want to call that system there. So now I have to figure out which side was which for these to clip on there properly because they slide off easy. Christ! Oh, you gotta love it when you do like more than half of the review and you're not recording.